Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. Today we are in Dauphin County in Clarks Valley, and you can see the beautiful Clarks Creek right there. We're at the Appalachian Trail access, and we'll be ascending Stony Mountain to investigate an area called the Devils Racecourse. If you want to see why it's called the Devils Racecourse, stick with us, and we are very happy to share it with you. If you follow us, you will see that we have a number of other adventures in this St. Anthony's Wilderness area. It is the striated mountains and valleys area just north of Lebanon and east of Harrisburg, where you have a series of mountains and valleys, and it's an area that feels remote and secluded, even though it's on the edge of southeastern Pennsylvania. Many things to explore, including some old abandoned coal mining towns. There's an amazing rail trail. It's a popular area for hunting and fishing as well, and just an opportunity to get out and enjoy the beauty of creation. As you see, the trail is starting to ascend Stony Mountain, and you'll get to see why it's called Stony Mountain as well. So stick with us on this last day of summer adventure up to the Devils Racecourse. Thus far, we've breezed along this gravel road for about 1.5 miles from the trailhead, and this is our turnoff point right here, marked by this cairn, and it looks like a blue blaze to head up Stony Mountain. There are a number of trails leading up Stony Mountain, and there was a red blaze trail about 1/2 mile back, and if you look on the map, both of them run parallel to each other up Stony Mountain and then connect at the same point at the top. The red blaze trail seemed to be more of a gradual incline, but this ascends straight up the mountain from what I can tell on the map. So get ready for a fun, I'm sure, and invigorating, challenging climb right up Stony Mountain. We are near the ridge of Stony Mountain, and I wanted to pause and share this with you. This is the trail we just ascended, and as you can see, it is certainly rocky, but it's clear, and it comes straight up the mountain, but it's really not as steep as I was expecting. A few months ago, when we visited the abandoned coal mining village of Yellow Springs, we ascended the north side of Stony Mountain just a few miles away from here, and it would be generous to call it a trail. The trail up the mountain was really just blue blazes on the trees above an enormous boulder field, and that's more what I was expecting. But the trail here was, although it was an incline, it was much easier than expected. And after we turned that corner where this segment of the video just started, you can see that the trail levels out significantly and ascends the mountain up that way more gradually, following the contours. When we arrived at the top of Stony Mountain, we passed through a golden-leaved stand of new growth onto the Rattling Run Trail. And the Rattling Run Trail is really a grass road, very easy, similar to the trail we're on now, which is the Stagecoach Trail, really just a continuation of the Rattling Run Trail. And if we turn aside, you can see evidence of some exploratory mines. We passed through the prescribed burn area, which had a very different characteristic, mostly pitch pine and ferns and a lot of brush and new growth. And we came down from the ridge, which is up above. You can just barely see the elevation through the trees. We've been looking for a turnoff to the Devils Racecourse. I visited a few years ago and marked the coordinates on my map, but I'm not quite sure how I actually got there. We did some bushwhacking and did make it to the western terminus of the Devils Racecourse, but that proved to not be a viable option, so we'll turn aside here and hopefully at actually a blazed trail, this yellow trail, will make it to the Devils Racecourse a bit easier. You can make it there through bushwhacking, but it does get tricky because the brush gets thicker, and then we were navigating over some difficult terrain. It was quite rocky, and even more than that, we saw evidence of large wet areas. It's been a particularly dry end of the summer, so these presumably wet areas were completely dry when we crossed, but we saw sphagnum moss there and some sticks piled up at high water marks. So that would unmistakably be wet under normal circumstances. But man, this is sure a whole lot easier. And I hope what you would come to expect of us. I don't want to send you off on a rough trail and say, go trailblaze it yourself and figure it out. That's what you're here for, and that's what I want to show you. But look at this trail. This is really not a problem at all. I would imagine that spot would be wet under normal circumstances, but we were able to cross right over, hopping on the stones. And yes, this is it. You can see right ahead of us through the trees the amazing Devils Racecourse. Well, I can't wait to get there. Ready, set, go. And here it is, the aptly named Devils Racecourse. Whoa, here, you see that? You can rock on that rock. Beautiful. So we came out all the way to our left at the western terminus, all the way down there. And if we pan, there's actually quite a bit more. And you can see the mountains in the background and the trees to the side. This would look amazing in the fall time. Well, now you see why they call it the Devil's Racecourse. This would be an evil and sadistic run, but for our purposes, it's a pretty fun boulder hop. And of course, we will share the coordinates for how to get here and mark with a track the path we took on that yellow blaze trail, so you can find this a bit more quickly than we did. But man, it is so worth it. Hope you can get out here and explore the Devil's Racecourse and all of the other fun things to do in St. Anthony's Wilderness, much of which you can find at hemlockstateexplorer.com. About a quarter of a mile from the yellow blaze trail, we encountered another trail, blazed red and much more conspicuous, that also leads to the Devil's Racecourse. We'll make a track of this and leave it and the coordinates along with everything else you need to know before you visit the Devil's Racecourse at hemlockstateexplorer.com. We are on the Appalachian Trail on the return trip on the north side of Stony Mountain, and this is more what I was expecting on the trip up. We didn't encounter that, but that's why they call it Stony Mountain. But this must be an old grade because this is fairly flat. In this section we had a little bit of a descent from the ridge of the mountain. Looks like we're headed back up a little bit, and then this will make a generally gradual decline down to the DeHart Reservoir area. Maybe we'll see some views of that. Don't quite recall. I was here a few years ago in the winter time, and well, can't really see it through the trees. I just caught a glimpse of the water down there, but there were some broken views during the winter. Not sure how much we'll see at the end of summer here, but in any case, it's a very pleasant hike on the side of Stony Mountain. Yeah, and there are lots of rocks down there. Yeah, I can see the water just a little bit through the trees. Not really a view though, but if I do see any views, I'll share them with you. We've nearly returned to the trailhead via the Appalachian Trail, and the Appalachian Trail in this section was very well maintained, making use of the local stone to construct a number of bridges and causeways over wet spots. There you see a view of Clark's Creek. So I've done this trail both clockwise and counterclockwise. Today we went counterclockwise, and that's a bit more of a vigorous hike because you ascend more directly up Stony Mountain on the north side and the south side on the return trip. But if you take the trail clockwise, you'll ascend Stony Mountain via the Appalachian Trail, where we just came down. Then you'll ascend the south side of Stony Mountain via Stagecoach Road, which is at that point a new gravel trail. Thanks for joining us on this adventure to the Devils Racecourse. Be sure to check out all of our adventures at hemlockstateexplorer.com with all you need to know before you go. And until next time, we can't wait to see you on the next adventure.